Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today, what we're talking about is how to get back on track easily. It's easier than you think. And the secret to getting back on track quickly when you've gotten off track with your reading is to change how you're thinking. So, what most people do when they approach dieting is they have an all or nothing mindset. So, they're going to be perfect until they reach their goal weight, and that's that. That's how that's going to go. And when you think of it that way, as soon as you make a mistake, it's going to feel catastrophic. I use the example of, when you think about your weight loss, is how fast can I lose the weight? You're almost thinking of it as like a sprint. And when you think about a sprint, you have to be absolutely perfect in order to win a sprint. There's no room for mistakes. So if you think about your weight loss in that way, anytime you make a mistake, it's going to feel catastrophic. All right. So that's the first piece. The second piece is that if we only think in an all or nothing way, then what happens when we get off track a little bit is the only option we have is to get completely 100% back on track. And sometimes you can do that. And a lot of times you can't because you're tired, you're exhausted, you're in a bad mood, whatever the reason may be. It's too difficult to get back being perfect. And this is where the concept of being all or something is really important, because if you realize you can just get a little bit more back on track, you open up a whole giant range of other alternatives than just the nothing or being perfect. And that's the real big secret, because now you can start to make getting back on track easier. It doesn't have to be everything. It doesn't have to overwhelm you. It can just be something small that'll make you feel better. And that is the biggest secret of it all, is that when you get off track with your reading, the way you're thinking about it is that now I have to step away from the pleasure of the food and I have to go back to feeling deprived and miserable. And that's how you think about getting back on track with your weight loss. Please stop. And so it's important that you change this up and realize that when you start making getting back on track easier and smaller, you can do small things like drinking more water, eating a piece of fruit, going for a walk, going to bed a little bit earlier, taking a few minutes to relax, eating a salad, any one of those things. And if you do any one of those, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel more positive in your mind. You're going to feel more positive emotions. So if you put all this together and realize, of course, you're going to make mistakes. And when you do, have a range of options you have available to you to get back on track, and think about those options as soon as you do them, you're going to feel better. That's the secret. We always do what we think is going to make us feel better. But a lot of times when people get off track with their reading, they think getting back on track is miserable, difficult, and hard, and so they avoid it. So the easiest way to get back on track is to change the way you're thinking about this. On the big level, start giving yourself more time and realizing, of course, you're going to make some mistakes, and be prepared for them. When the mistakes happen, have some solutions ready to go that are pretty easy to do, even if you are depleted. And then finally, look at those options as something that's going to make you feel better instantly the second you do them. Because the second you drink some more water, the second you eat the piece of fruit, the second you go for a walk, you feel at least a little bit better. And once you feel better, everything can feel like it's changing. So this is a real secret to getting back on track, which is the secret to getting the results you're really looking for. So if you want to go deeper into this process, click the link in my bio, get the free hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made for you, and I will help you do this. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll get to them. What's up, David? David says, nutrition for fat loss, resistance for body composition, keep it simple. Yep. Nutrition definitely helps. Nutrition really is. I mean, obviously, nutrition's a key point. It's not enough. I mean, you can't just have nutritional knowledge, obviously. But yeah, understanding nutrition and taking it seriously and genuinely nourishing your body, as you can imagine, super helpful. What's up, Jen? Jen says, hi, Jim. Happy to catch you live today. Practicing the anti all or nothing daily instead of just suddenly stopping my Starbucks fix. I'm cutting down to a smaller size. I will then only keep them to pleasure days. Jen, that's perfect. I'll just give you a slight little coaching reframe. I wouldn't practice the anti all or nothing daily. I would practice being all or something, right? Just simply because our brain, it's a weird, I know this is going to sound strange, but it's weird for our brain to understand negatives. And that's a lot of times what we do. So say like, I don't want to be all or nothing. So I'm going to practice being anti all or nothing. But to understand what I'm talking about, it's like, imagine if I gave you directions to a place and I gave them to you in the form of negatives, meaning I said, okay, you want to go to the grocery store? All right. Don't back up out of your driveway. Don't take a left. Don't go straight. Don't go straight some more. Don't take a right. Right? Your brain's like, what? Well, just tell me what to do. Okay. So it's always important. We tend to start with the negatives. I don't like this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to do this. That's fine. But as quick as you can, you want to shift it over to a positive, what you want to do. Because when you describe things in terms of what you want to do, it's much clearer to your subconscious mind. And so that's one little thing I'd say is, again, practice being all or something, and you're doing it anyways. So that's wonderful. I think that's such a brilliant strategy, Jen. And it's like, so few people will do it because it's just not fast enough. It's not extreme enough. You all been conditioned the no pain, no gain. If you don't do some crazy shit, you're not going to get the results. And even though you've been trying to jump into plans 100%, the no pain, no gain, even though you've been at it for decades and it hasn't worked for you, you still keep trying it. So again, the quicker you realize that trying to make yourself miserable to lose weight's never going to work, you open yourself up to, again, more nuanced solutions, like going from, a Starbucks this big down to a Starbucks this big, and getting used to that. And then once you're used to that, then cutting it down a little bit more in various ways. So yeah. So it says, gotcha. Hard to fight off the negativity these days. I'll try to be pro. Yes. And again, it is hard. It's because again, there's a number of reasons for it. They're not important right now, but it is difficult. Our brain definitely notices the negative stuff and frames things and says, I don't want this. That's completely normal and natural. But if we do work to balance that out and focus us on what we do want, it's usually a very valuable thing to do, because it makes it much clearer to your mind. And when you're clear in your mind, you tend to get better results, if you can imagine that. What's up, Rachel? How's it going? What Thursday? I've lost track what day it was today. I've been working on some big stuff. It's really happening. That's how life is too. That's why you got to be resilient. You got to be resilient with life, because at least my life, I have ups and downs and plateaus and all areas of my life. And so I swear, sometimes I think the most important piece of success is how you manage the times when you're not at your best. Back to the all or something thing, again, this idea that you're going to go into something being perfect and just maintain that perfection is it's just childish. It's silly. It's stupid. I don't know what to tell you. I did it, Jim. I lost 40 pounds. Yeah. And then what happened? It's like, we can't just look at losing weight. We got to look at staying there, and we got to look at the big picture of things. But anyways, for me, what I'm referencing is that even me with work, I'm just hitting, I was kind of maintaining some stuff, and now it's just like things are popping off so big. It's so exciting. Book's almost done. The How to Choose Your Goal Weight training and quiz is almost done. And I'm so excited for you all to get it, because it takes you through real simple. You go through it and you make your goal weight more meaningful, and you might even choose a different number, but it takes you through that process really easy, really quickly. But then the best part of it all is that it's set up in a way that I can reinforce it for you. I'm so excited to share this with you, and this is all free. This will all be free. So again, make sure you're on my email list if you're not, because this will be coming out, I expect, this weekend. The quiz is officially done. The backup emails to kind of reinforce what you put in there are done. And so I'm redoing the training, and I might make a hypnosis session for it just to reinforce it. And I think you'll experience firsthand a different way to approach your weight loss. And guess what? It starts with your mindset. So I'm excited to get that all to you. What's up? Vet says, I read this. If you're hungry, eat an apple. If you don't want an apple, you're not hungry. Agreed. I couldn't agree with that more. It's always this distinction between, am I hungry or am I bored or emotional? And yeah, one of the easiest kind of litmus tests to tell which one you are is to say, okay, if I'm hungry, I'll eat a piece of fruit or some whole food. And if you're like, nah, I don't want that, then you're not really hungry. You're just bored. You remember, processed food stuff, fast food stuff, junk food stuff is entertainment. That's what it is. It's not even just the taste of it, although the taste is a piece of it. It's like it's subconsciously in your nervous system, these processed food stuffs in the form of junk food, fast food, just processed food is a entertainment experience. So a lot of times when you're just feeling kind of bored, shit, and even feeling bored can feel so uncomfortable nowadays because we're so conditioned and trained not to feel any boredom ever and just to freak out if we do. So, but anyways, yeah, I think of that. I think that's a great, I love that. And I believe in that 1,000%. I use that all the time, which is why I also have like natural food options around me. And it is funny to even interface with it. Just, okay, I'm have a tangerine. Nah, well, you're not that hungry. I think that's I don't know. I think that's a great strategy. Big fan of that one. What's up, Julie? Julie says, birthday dinner at upscale restaurant last night. Strategy was, what makes me feel better? I had a branzino filet with broccoli and salad with goat cheese. Yum. That's awesome. That's awesome, Julie. That's what I'm talking about. You know you're in it when you can go out for like a birthday dinner and you want to stay on track because you like feeling good. Again, the secret to mastering your weight is not to force yourself to not do things that feel good. It's to change how you define feeling good. And the way you change and redefine feeling good with food is to shift your focus from pleasure to happiness. And that is the shift that changes everything. Because once you start to look at your food choices and you compare them with the pleasure happiness scale, you very quickly start to want to make different choices. Because having branzino, broccoli, and salad with goat cheese is going to not only be pleasurable, but it's going to give you tons and tons of happiness. You're going to feel better eating it. You're going to feel better after you finish eating it. The next day, 12 hours later, you're still going to be happy with the decision you made, proud of yourself, feeling good, feeling on track, feeling successful. So good decisions are the gift that keep on giving. The problem is that your entire life in this culture, you've been conditioned to focus on the pleasure of food, not the happiness of food. And I'm going to fucking change that. I can't wait because part of the book, I cannot wait to put this book out here. It's just everything too. I'm so excited. Program Yourself Thin is just entering a new era. It's so exciting for me. It's just set up nice. The blueprints are just set up clearly. Those are coming right down the pike. Those should be ready to go. I'm assuming next week we should have those ready to go. The new and improved blueprints. And the book is on its way. I could see it very possibly by the end of the month. And that book is going to be as cheap as I can make it. Like literally, I don't know what the cheapest price I can sell a book on Amazon is, but that's what the price will be. So it is my mission to help as many people as possible with their goal weight. And it's so exciting to get the goal weight training out there. The book's going to be out there. It's going to be virtually free. And I can't wait to just put all this stuff out there. So it's an exciting time for me. Yeah, Julie says 2 bites of cake. Nice. Oh yeah, the pasta waiters kept complaining afterwards, feeling the pasta eaters, yeah, kept complaining afterwards, feeling full and gross. Yeah, I get it. So good for you, Julie. That's what I mean. I that's exactly how I think, and that's why I make decisions I make. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I'm missing out on these foods as much as I don't know if y'all have gotten a handle on your drinking. I used to be a binge drinker, and now it's like I don't want to drink a lot. I don't like how it feels. I'm not tempted all the time. I mean, occasionally I'll kind of forget that a little bit, but then I just remind myself, God, I don't like hangovers. I don't like feeling like shit for a whole day afterwards. It's not where I don't like it. The alcohol stole my happiness. For a short burst of pleasure, which I enjoyed, I gave up tons of happiness. You're doing the same thing with your food. For short-term little blips of pleasure that you're addicted to, you're giving up tremendous happiness in your life. And when you frame it that way, it's very powerful because it's true. And everything you do from this point forward validates that one way or the other. You either make good decisions, like, oh shit, I feel a lot happier. Or you make decisions just based on the moment and then you feel shittier. There's no avoiding it. You can't tell me eating the food makes you feel good. Oh, no, don't tell me I love ice cream. Yeah, you love ice cream while you're fucking eating it. You love looking forward to eating it and eating it. And then do you love it after you take the last lick? Do you love it now? 5 seconds after you finish eating it, do you love it now? Or does the guilt and the shame and the frustration, the depression and all the rest of it start up? So again, we've been sold a bill of goods, you're all entranced, kind of just like cigarette smokers were in the 70s. No idea it was dangerous. Like literally. I don't know if people believe that. Young people don't believe that anymore. They don't believe it's possible, but I was there. People didn't think of cigarettes. They didn't think they were healthy, but they did not realize how deadly they were. And the same thing's going on with the foods right now. You have a vague sense that it's not good for you, but you don't realize just how much these shitty processed junk food stuff, processed food, fast food bullshit is stealing from your life. Literally stealing years, literally stealing all your wonderful, happy emotions that you deserve to experience as a human. And when you start to think of it that way, it becomes much more motivating and different process than most people when they're trying to diet and lose some weight. X says, hello, Jim. Is feta cheese good for weight loss? I mean, nothing's that simple. Do you understand? Nothing's like that simple. So is feta cheese good for weight loss? It depends. It just depends. Ultimately, your weight loss comes down to your calories consumed. And so you say, well, you shouldn't have feta cheese. It's calorie dense. Yeah, but if you eat feta cheese and then it's more easy for you to consume less calories during the day, then it's a great thing. If you eat feta cheese and you can't stop eating it, it triggers you to eat a lot more calories and it's not good. So it just depends. Everyone is so unique and different. And again, in Program Yourself Thin, this is why we create our customized blueprints, because you're a unique, one-of-a-kind being. And this idea that someone's going to tell you what to do based on some diet that's built for everyone on the planet is silly to the extreme. So at the end of the day, you got to figure out what works for you, what is most enjoyable for you. So if you love feta cheese, I wouldn't get rid of it, because now you're saying, oh, in order to lose weight, I have to give up the thing I love the most. If you don't really care about feta cheese, cut it down. It's probably more calorie dense than other things you could eat, but it's probably not that bad anyways. What's up, Kelly? Kelly says, why can't I be hungry and have a food preference? Something feels diet culture about that apple thing to me. What am I missing? Oh, no, I get that, Kelly. Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I think I use that more in terms of like grazing and snacking is when I use that more. So yeah, absolutely. You can be hungry and want to eat other stuff other than just an apple or something healthy. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. If you were doing that 24 hours a day with every meal, like I got to eat just salads and apples and celeries all day long. Then no, that's not what I meant to say. So, whatever your meals are, eat them and optimize them. I almost think more snacky, grazy in between meals. I like to think that, because for me in the program structuring things, and again, it's up to each person, but for me on we're changing. I'm changing the name of clean days too, by the way. I got enough feedback saying, people don't really like that. Let's start calling them happy days. I can't wait. The new training's coming out. Anyways. So let's just say, on your days, on my days, they're mostly about fueling my body. I'm eating 3 meals. I'll eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. And that's what I like to eat. And I think structuring your eating is really important. So I used to snack in between there, and now I don't. And as I moved my snacking away, that was one of the strategies I used. I said, well, if I'm really hungry, I'll have an apple for a snack. Because I noticed that I could snack a lot just because I'd start thinking about, hyper palatable foods, start thinking about ice cream or chips or crackers or peanuts or trail mix or whatever. It's like all of a sudden you start thinking about it a lot, even when you're hungry or not. So that's more what I meant. Any weight questions, feel free to ask them. Because whatever you're struggling with, I can almost guarantee you I can help you a bit. D says, where will your book be available? I'm probably just going to sell it through Amazon. And because if I sell through Amazon, you'll have the option of, if you just want to get the Kindle version. And like I said, that'll literally be $1, I think is the cheapest you can put it. And if you want to get an actual physical book, that'll be a little bit more, but it'll be literally whatever $1 plus it costs them to print it and send it will be. So I'd give the book away for free if I could, but it's, you got to pay, it's going to be some money there. But it'll be as close as I can get you. Okay. And what I'll do anyways, is I'll make a special hypnosis session too. And a special training if you get the book, that'll be free. just to make up for that. So I can't wait. And this book's going to have everything in it. I guess the big thing I'm kind of looking at is, do I want to make a book? I'm kind of in between, like if I should make the book like just more, not as in depth, you know what I mean? Just so people that aren't as invested can just kind of do it. Or then on the other side, like, do I really want to put everything in here? Like, because then it's going to be like, but then again, I know the people that like my stuff are readers. They're type A people, you know what I mean? That they overthink a lot. They went to college, most of them. They like I said, they read a lot of books. They absorb a lot of information. So in that sense, I'm like, I should just give them everything. Just give them the whole thing. And then people that just aren't into that, well, they'll fall away. And that's just how it'll probably be. That's where I think I'm going to go. That's where I think we're going to go with it. So anyways, can't wait. Oh, a signed copy of the book. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll figure out how to do that too. I guess I just order a bunch of them and just somehow I'll do that. I'll figure that out. Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, probably next month. Because like I said, I got the book now. I got the first draft pretty much finished. And now it's just going back and kind of optimizing it. And of course, I'm doing 5 things at the same time, which I know isn't the best, but sometimes, I don't know, that works well for me. And that's where I'm at. So there's lots of cool things coming in the Program Yourself Then world, from the book to the quiz. And like I said, the quiz should be ready this weekend. Jody said you're overthinking it. I know that. I know. Well, I am overthinking because I was like, at one point I was going to make this like a simple book, like just like a simple kind of like read through it really fast book. And I'm not sure that I'm not going to do that, but I kind of like, I'm kind of in between, like, do I want to make a simpler book that's kind of easy to go through the big ideas in it? That's that. Or do I want to give more detail and go into that? So I don't know. So I'll be talking to some people and finding out what they think, because I am curious what people would like more. I don't know. But it is exciting. Jojo said, hi, Jim. You helped me lose 30 pounds a year ago, and I'm maintaining but want to lose another 10 now. Great job, Jojo. Let's take a screenshot of that. Add it to the list of screenshots I have that I never use. But anyways, great job, Jojo. All right, I want to lose another 10. So yeah, great. So nice job. And it's funny, I've had a couple of these conversations recently with some of my clients, and they've lost weight. And now here's something I'll talk about. You don't get to hear this a lot, so I think it's important. We could call it a plateau. You've lost a bit of weight, so you lost 30 pounds, and you kind of plateaued. Maintaining, I like better. Great job, by the way, right? What an accomplishment. And we're so quick to overlook that, by the way. I can't tell you the number of times the client says to me, oh, Jim, I haven't, I'm in the program and I lost a bunch of weight. Now I'm not losing any weight. And it's like, yeah, okay. But when's the last time you maintained for 6 months? When's the last time you maintained your weight for even a year? Like 30, 50, 60 pounds. And now it's like, oh yeah, I've been kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of, what do I say? Like, I'm just, I forget the word. I say the phrase a lot. I can't remember, but it's like, they're basically, the idea of maintenance is what Program Yourself Then is all about, right? Because the goal is for you to get to your goal weight, then live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot, which is just another way to say I'm going to maintain on near autopilot. So when you're able to lose 30 pounds, which is considerable, and maintain that weight loss fairly comfortably, that's a wonderful accomplishment. And you really, really ought to honor it. You really should. And the other metaphor I'll give you is, I think of weight loss a lot of times, it's like climbing Everest, where you can't just go from the bottom to the top of Everest. You climb up and then you go to a base camp, and then you have to acclimate to the height you're at. Okay. Get used to the oxygen levels and all other bullshit. And so I swear, when I watch weight loss with people, and especially if you've got more than like 20, 30 pounds, I would say, there seems to be a point where there's going to be an acclimation period. It's different weights for different people. You know what I mean? So, there's nothing like specific about the numbers, but it just seems so common that when someone loses a considerable amount of weight for them. So again, 30 pounds is a lot. Say you want to lose 40 pounds ultimately, and say you get 75% of the weight, you're 75% of the way to your goal. And so it is normal. This is never normalized in the weight loss world, but I think it's completely and totally normal to maintain for a bit and just get your bearings. Start to understand life as a 30-pound lighter person. Normalize to that. Internalize it. Get used to it. Habituate to it. not even just to being that person, but to thinking that way, to feeling that way, to living that way, to eating that way. And now you've done that. And so I think that's the right way to go about it. I certainly, my own journey has been, when I lost the weight, it was the same thing. I would lose weight and then I would kind of stay at the same weight for a while. Then I would kind of like re-engage, get better, lose some more weight, stay at the weight for a while. That happened. I can't remember now, but it was probably like 2, 3, 4 phases to finally get to where I'm ultimately at. And I think that's completely normal. So when you hit a maintenance phase, relax and appreciate where you came from. Because again, and if we put it in a percentage, you're 75% of the way to your goal. Great job. Okay. So yeah, another 10 now re-engage with it. I'm sure you will. Again, build on everything that you used before and just, again, whatever you did before to succeed, model some of that and then just turn it up a bit in terms of dialing the calories down a bit. So whatever calories you're consuming consistently, dial them down by 10% and then see where your weight ends up. But great job, Jojo. Dawn says the apple thing is definitely regards to sweets and snacking. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's not all the time because that would be not good. Thank you. It's a weird thing where you can only eat apples and it is diety. Jojo said I went from 164 to now I'm 128 and want to be around 120. Yeah, great job, Jojo. And I will tell you another thing, and this is really important, is that start thinking of your goal weight in a range. If you start thinking of your goal weight as a specific fixed number, you are going to doom yourself for failure because your weight fluctuates. Everyone's weight fluctuates. Women's, especially younger women that are having periods, their weight fluctuates even more. And you have to recognize and leave space for that. To pretend you're always going to be the same number is the fastest way to discourage yourself. So when you think of 120, I would put 120 as my base weight. And then I would add, your weight, I would add 3 to 5 pounds onto it. And so if I was within the 3 to 5 pounds, I would be fine with it. So if I was at 128, fine, put yourself to 120 where it's the lowest part. But then if it goes 120 to 124, 125, that's fine. You can live in there. So that's what I'd suggest there too. He says, I'm struggling to pre-plan pleasure days. I always overdo it and looking for advice for how to do that. I'm struggling to pre-plan pleasure days. I always overdo it. Okay, well, what do you overdo? So it's what I would suggest is great job, by the way, first of all. Okay, D. So this isn't about like, I just do it one time and I figured it out. It really is about just re-engaging with it. Because again, I always like to go to the end goal, right? A well-formed outcome. Let's just imagine you master your pleasure days. Like you figure it out. Like you figure out how to have the perfect pleasure days week in and week out, where you eat perfectly. You absolutely love it. You get the most pleasure out of it possible. You love them. Everything's humming along and the calories are right where they need to be. Let's just imagine that reality. If that happens, that's going to be a huge step forward in your weight mastery. And so stick with it. Okay. If it takes you 6 months, a year, who gives a shit? Once you figure that out, it's going to be such a huge anchor in you mastering your weight. And so now we go into the specific pleasure days and now you got some experience with it. And you say, I always overdo it. What do you overdo? What are you overdoing? Where is it showing up? Is it like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you're overdoing it? Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? Is it snacking? Is it overeating at dinner? What exactly is overdoing it and how is that showing up? That's the first thing I want to notice. And then from doing that, a solution might become really obvious for you. But if it doesn't, the first thing I recommend working on is the first meal of the day. So whatever your first meal of the day is, even on a pleasure day, let's work to optimize it. So if like you're just losing control all day long, it's probably triggered by what you first eat. And so I would work to optimize what you're first eating. And optimizing it can be, you still enjoy your pleasure breakfast, but then maybe you don't have a donut afterwards that you were having, or I don't know, like, what I mean? Like, it's hard to know without details, but I would keep going the path you're on. Please re-engage with your solution-oriented mindset, D. I hear that with you because I hear you flipping into problem-oriented mode. And if you could bring yourself over to solution-oriented mode, and you've got the trainings in there to kind of reinforce that. But if you get back into solution-oriented mode in a more in-depth way, and then look at your pleasure days and optimize them and make them really work for you, I know you'll find solutions. Okay. But just relax, let it go. This stuff sometimes takes longer than we want it to. It's okay. And we're doing it in service of a much bigger goal. So if it took you 6 more months, who gives a shit? Okay. But great job becoming aware of it and practicing it and tweaking it, because you're going to get it. It's not rocket science. Sometimes we just need to stick with things a little bit longer. So great job with that. Jojo likes that idea. Good. Okay. Binging and snacking, D. Yeah. Okay. So if you're binging and snacking, again, I want to know when. Is it starting off like right first thing in the morning? Because, okay, let's just say it is. Let's just say your pleasure day kicks off, and literally from as soon as you wake up, the first bites you eat, you're binging, and then you're just binging and snacking the rest of the day. Let's just say that's your experience. So the first thing I want to do is the same thing I just said. I want to focus on the first meal of the day. What can I eat first meal of the day where I can eat moderately, comfortably, enjoyably, and get the most out of it? And then I'm looking for something I can also eat that's going to satisfy me a bit. So what can I eat first thing that I don't binge on, or in a way that I don't binge, and that also serves to get me to the next meal, the next pleasure meal, comfortably, so that there's no snacking. So the first thing I'm focusing all my energy on, if I'm a UD, is my first meal of the day in the space up until my second meal of the day. And then I would work on optimizing that. And once you get that optimized, guess what? Just move on to the next things. All right. But again, if I was working with you, I'd be able to diagnose the binging and snacking almost instantly. And you can do it, just look at what you're doing throughout the day and come up with some other things. Kelly says you could use some of those screenshots on the back cover of your book. Oh my God, I know. Well, to be honest, I have so many testimonials from like clients that give me long ass testimonials, which I still got to get those. That's the dumbest thing I do. That's the dumbest thing I do in my business, without question, is I don't get all the testimonials. I don't collect them. I've probably collected 10% of them, and they're just so dramatic over the years. That's what I probably feel the stupidest about personally. I feel so dumb about that. But anyways, moving forward. And he says the ones that it clicks with will want more of an explanation. Yeah, I think so too, Jody. I think so too. My real goal, and this is what I'm going to balance this out, because I know now that I've gotten the book actually like I've I got it. You know what I mean? Like I got it, but now it's the refining it. And that's why I got to balance myself, because that's where my perfectionist tendencies can start to become a problem. But my real goal is, and I'm okay with, I will aim at this goal for a moderate amount of time. And then I will say that enough's enough, because that's one of my problems. But my goal with the book is to make it overviewy, easy to understand, with the depth that you can go into. So it will kind of do both. And that would help everyone anyways. Because again, that's what I think is so exciting about Program Yourself Thin, is what's coming is a much clearer 10,000 foot view of it. And then if you want to go on all the details, well, obviously those of you in the program know that there's a lot of details. But what I really am using this as an opportunity for is to clarify the big picture pieces. And then those pieces are going to be consistently reinforced in the program. So again, I'm really, it's the biggest upgrade to the program of all time. Like literally, it's very exciting. That chip, I still haven't fixed that. I was waiting, I cut myself, but I'm not getting rid of this mug. I love this thing. Can't do it. Jen says, my doctor said a 5 to 7 pound weight range makes more sense than one number. Jim, I think you would actually like her. Yeah, I love doctors, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I know I talk a lot of shit about people, but I love doctors. Doctors don't know much about weight loss typically, unless they have a personal interest in it. But I think that's great. Yeah, 5 to 7 pounds. And I think it depends on your frame and your size and your weight, so I'm not going to, I'm just throwing numbers out here, take it or leave it, but it's like maybe under 150 pounds, maybe you have a 3 to 5 pound weight range. 150 to like 180, maybe a 5 to 7 pound weight range, plus 200 pounds, maybe a 10 pound weight range. It's relative how quickly and slowly we can lose weight depending on our weight. But again, that's your range. It's up to you to decide what works for you. But you got to have a range, because otherwise it's just so strange. Like it's so weird to aim at one single number obsessively that I can't even express enough how bad of an idea it is. It's like, it's that important. So you've got to have a range, or else you're going to make yourself insane. Consider a praise for section right in the beginning of the book too. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, Just Jade. Yeah, right. The chip in the mug gives a character. Yeah, what's it called? Kintsugi. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I was looking that up because I was looking up how to fix my mug, and unfortunately, my wife threw the chip out, because then I would have had an easy time. I just glued it back in, everything was fine. Because I don't know, you can't tell, but it's already lost this big chip. I already lost that big chip, and I glued that back in. But luckily, it's at the part where my mouth doesn't go, so I'm not worried about cutting my mouth, or whatever. But yeah, that chip got thrown out, so I'm like, oh, what do I do? Because I was looking at that. It's kind of cool. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is that gold? Like, are those just decorative plates, or they actually eat off of them? Because is that gold toxic, or is that's fine? It's got to be fine. But anyways, I thought that was cool. Anyways, I think that's so neat. And I'm working on that. As an American, we just throw things away. I'm just as guilty as everyone else. But I don't know. I started thinking to myself, like keeping things. Yeah, it's got character now, right? And so it's like, I wish I had the chip still. But then I saw like, oh, they have like polymers and stuff you can put in there, and it will do it. But then it's just gonna be white. Why don't they sell like a dark polymer? That'd be perfect. Then you put it in there, and then it'll just smooth it over. So, anyways, because even the kintsugi, it's whatever it's called. It's like gold paint, right? Then you put the pieces together. That is pretty cool. Jojo says, someone once told me time will pass either way, so why not make the most of it and work toward goals? Oh my God, I couldn't agree more, Jojo. I could not agree more. I think about that constantly. Time's moving forward. I think about that all the time with myself, because I'm trying to do stuff. But yeah, time's always moving forward. So that's why, again, in programming stuff, then we attempt to follow the 1% better a day philosophy. And if you can really absorb that, like each and every day, you can always get a little bit better in some way or another. And over time, that really does compound and stack up. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that mindset for sure. Irate in Blue says, do you have a podcast? This is the podcast. So I actually do have a podcast. It's called Program Yourself Thin. It's on all the podcast platforms. Put a new episode every day, because I do this every day, Monday through Friday, weekdays. So yeah, if you ever have questions, want to talk to me, ask me questions, pop on here. Usually around noon Eastern, I'm on live, and then I take the audio and I put it up as a podcast. So yes, you can listen to that anytime you want to. Jody says, what's the writing on the bottom of the mug? I think it's just the artist. It's the artist's name and then the year. So I guess it's 2014. My mom got this for me. It's a left-hand mug. I'm left-handed, so it's a left-handed mug. And I love it. I love this thing. Yeah, this crack was, oh God. I remember when that happened. I was like, oh, I was terrified. Thank God it was just a little chip. But then that one, yeah, I busted that one off myself. Well, I did that one too, but being a stupid ass. It's always annoying when you do stuff like that. You get so mad at yourself. But anyways. So just asking you shall receive. Yeah. I imagine that's for the testimonials, probably. Vicky says, hi, Jim. Finally have a moment to listen. Oh, yep. Vicky be at work. Listen to this. Judith says, it's a constant learning. Yes, absolutely. Ms. Raven says, what are your thoughts on skinny talk? I know a little bit about it, and I go into it with a lot of implicit biases, because I've had to deal with so much shit on social media because, it's called Program Yourself. Then I talk about weight loss. And so I've had videos banned and removed and lots of hateful comments directed my way. So I'm always like very intentionally trying to reinforce that this isn't just about weight loss. It's about weight loss wrapped in personal development, becoming a better version of yourself, all this stuff. And so then I see Skinny Talk and I'm like, I go into it with this. There's a very toxic undercurrent of weight loss online. And so my first thoughts of Skinny Talk is that it's this toxic thing. But then sometimes I hear about it and I'm like, people might be over there because I don't know. Part of Program Yourself Thin is that I'm reclaiming the word thin. My definition of thin is that it's you at your goal weight. And my definition of your goal weight is whatever goal weight gives you the best quality of life. So my definition of thin is not, a number, a percentile. I don't believe in that. So I'm a little apprehensive because people are like, hey, tag your videos. You just put your videos up on Skinny Talk. Because people would let me know. And this is, I would say the worst part for me of being online, like social media online, has been people using my videos in a way that they're not intended to create weights that are completely opposite of what I'm talking about. They don't make their quality of life better. They just make them more upset, more unhappy, more unhealthy. And that's been the absolute worst part of this whole thing, is when my content is used without my permission in a way that I did not intend it. And that bums me out. So I kind of do what I can to avoid that. And so I say to myself, well, if I go on Skinny Talk, but I don't even know what it is. I avoid most weight loss content, to be honest. It's very triggering to me. But I've heard a little bit of Skinny Talk, and some of it I kind of agree with. But I guess what I'm saying ultimately is I don't really know enough about it. Is it toxic? If you know about it, is it toxic? Is Skinny Talk toxic? I don't know. I know that most weight loss stuff online is toxic as shit. And I can't imagine that it's not, because it's probably just about looking a certain way. And I couldn't be further away from that goal. And it's a hard position to hold, because most people just intuitively think of weight loss as what you look like. And you should be thin. And so that's the best thing. Being thin's the best thing. And I think thin, in terms of being at the weight that gives you the best quality of life, is the best thing, but it's not because of what you look like. That's a piece of it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, wanting to look your best, whatever you define that as, I think is a part of this whole thing. So I'm not going to pretend that that's not part of it. But I think of the bigger part of it as being that when you're at the weight that you're happy with, when you weigh exactly what you want to weigh, and it's the weight that gives you the best quality of life, that's going to be you at your best. So I think about weight loss wrapped in personal development. So I frame this whole process as really, how do you become the best version of yourself possible? What is the best you can imagine? And then what weight are you at to make that, to live that reality? So the big difference, what I'm saying is it's feelings first, then the number. And everyone else is saying, no, the number here defines you. And so that I never liked that message one bit. And I think it causes lots of problems. So anyways, that's what I think so far. But if you all have different insights on Skinny Talk, let me know, because I'm always open to stuff, He says I'm left-handed too, especially for writing. Otherwise, I'm ambidextrous. No wonder we're in sync. Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. I actually play sports. My right arm is my dominant arm. So my right arm is my dominant arm in most things. Like I play guitar, strum with right hand, but I write with my left hand. Yeah, so I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm kind of ambidextrous. I'm definitely pretty ambidextrous. But yeah, it's funny that way. She just says it reminds me of the Japanese artistry with the imperfections on pottery. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I guess that's what it's called. Kintsugi. Kintsugi. I'm sure I'm saying that's completely wrong. Ms. Raven says Skinny Talk is all about portion control, personal development, and taking care of yourself. Okay. Some elements of Skinny TikTok are useful, but not when it makes you feel bad. Yeah. Okay. I could see that. Flesh or face says Skinny Talk's all about looks. All right. So everyone's got a different opinion on it. Skinny talk's not about being stick thin or ED behavior. It's honestly quite helpful. Okay, Miss Raven, I have heard that more. You know what I mean? So I am more open to it because, that's part of what I'm here every day for is I'm trying to blaze a path where we can congruently aim at a goal weight 100%. I'm obsessed with my weight, but why? It's not because I look a certain way. I don't give a fuck how I look. No one cares how I look. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't change my quality of life in most degrees. For me, weighing what I weigh shows up in how I'm thinking, feeling, living, energizing, doing day in and day out. And so in that way, it's almost like the current reality is like you can't even talk about weight loss because on one hand you have people that take it to the extreme and it's unhealthy, and then you have other people saying, well, no, obesity, you can be healthy then. And so it's like it's hard to blaze a trail of like congruently why would you want to be your goal weight. And so skinny talk, I don't know, like a little bit of things I can tap into. It seems a little different, but I don't know, maybe I'll go check it out. Judith says my weight loss is about me being well, for instance, no diabetes, high cholesterol, or joint pain. Yeah, Judith, I that's my main goal too, and I think as you get older, I hope that becomes the primary goal. Jesus Christ, I don't know. I'm 50 and it's like, I don't understand how like your body and how it's feeling isn't like boom, boom, like right there in front of you. It's not even just my weight. I mean, my weight's a big part of it, but then once you get to the goal weight, that's just kind of like the starting point. This is my hydration, my nourishment, my sleep, my relaxation, my breathing, my movement, my meditation, my strength, my gratitude. All this other stuff is really where I'm spending a lot of my time now that I've mastered my weight in order to increase my personal development, my happiness, my quality of life. So yeah, I'm right there with you, Judith. I think you got to have a deeper meaning beyond just how you look. You can want to look good too, As Random says, the delivery can trigger some people, but the principles are so legitimate and reasonable. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, in a weird way, that's why I say, like, I don't want to like, I know for a fact, there's a lot of people that I get it all the time. I literally get negative comments constantly, like every day, people hating what I'm doing because they associate it with eating disorders. And that's what I say. That's like, it's the most frustrating part of it all. So maybe like I will check out Skinny Talk because maybe I'll band with it a little bit, if it is, I'll take a look. But as Raven says, I don't think it focuses on looking a size 0. It's about not accepting obesity for yourself. Yeah. And becoming the best version of yourself. Well, I like that part. Yeah. Skinny Talk never talks about target numbers at all. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, says, do you have a degree that has something to do with weight loss? I do not. I got a degree in finance and investments. I got a business degree from college. I've got certifications that have to do with weight loss. I'm certified master hypnotist, NLP trainer, yoga instructor, strategic coach. So those things kind of set me up. But then I think my real degree is kind of corny, but I really do feel like my degree is in the school of hard knocks. I have been doing this professionally for over 20 years at this point. Program yourself thin and weight loss, especially. It was all triggered by my transformation. I dropped 50 pounds, but I really transformed myself from the inside out into a different, I think, better version of myself. And so I was obsessed with it. And so I finally got over into this side of things. And I spent the last 20 years at almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. So yeah, that's my experience with it. Mallory says, I've lost over 6 stone. My motivation was to continue to run. Oh, that's a great one. You've really helped me to stay on track. Well, thank you, Valerie. I'm happy to help you do that. Great job. What an accomplishment. Good Lord. That's quite an accomplishment. So yeah, that motivation's strong. You really like to run, huh? Now that wouldn't work for me. I don't want to run. You see? So we all got to figure out like different things drive us, and we got to figure out what those things are and use them for our benefit. So that's wonderful, Valerie, that you've accomplished that goal with that. That's wonderful. P4 says, hey there, I want to weight gain, but in vegetarian diet. Bro, I can't gain my weight. What should I do? You just got to consume more calories, and then, you can have a vegetarian diet and consume more calories. Vegan might be a little bit more challenging, but vegetarian diet's easy to get enough calories to put weight on. So yeah, you just got to consume more calories and just got to do it for longer than you think. Weight loss, weight gain are both challenging. I know people say, I'd love to have trouble gaining weight, but it's the same thing because changing your behavior is hard regardless. So just Jade says Skinny Talk may be a great place for you to be a voice of reason and recruit folks for your program. It can definitely be toxic, but that's why you might be a breath of fresh air. I kind of think that like, it's just because I feel like because I just get little feelers, little things, that I'll hear about it. And it seems like one of the first things that's actually because weight needs to be reframed completely. That's what I'm literally here every day talking about is the diet industry and food industry have completely fucked us with our weight. And they've given us no way to talk about it successfully. And they're the same thing. The diet and the food companies are the same thing. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same companies as Cinnabon and Onions Pretzels. Slim Fast owned by the same companies as Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream. These companies are not showing you how to master your weight. They're showing you how to lose weight quickly, perhaps, and then put it back on. So ultimately, you just stay on the same fucking hamster wheel with your weight forever. And there's no conversation. Like even what I'm talking about is fuck weight loss. Okay. Forget weight loss. You don't want to lose weight. You want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. Those goals are completely different. You never in your life have thought about mastering your weight, living at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. You don't think of it that way. You think about losing weight, which causes all sorts of mindset issues. You think of getting to the goal weight as the finish line, when in reality, it's just the starting line because your goal is not to lose weight and then put it back on, right? But you treat weight maintenance as an afterthought. And so the whole concept of weight in our culture is completely fucked against us very intentionally to keep people overweight. That's why we have a population that's 75% overweight or obese at this moment in time. We couldn't have more diets. We couldn't have more nutritional information. But the problem is the way you think about it, you literally, there's no path to success for you when you think about your weight. I hate to tell you this. And I say this to you to let you off the hook. It has nothing to do with your willpower. I promise you. It has to do with your mindset. You do not know how to think like a thin, healthy person. And to some degree, I do think some of the little airwaves that have got into my head about Skinny Talk is that it's talking about how to live as a thin, healthy person. And that's the shift that needs to happen because the diet culture has conditioned all of us to think about weight loss as a temporary thing we do to lose weight. And it's never about how to live at that weight forever. And that is the original sin of dieting that fucks everyone up ultimately. Kaisa says, a hypnotist, how does that work out of pure curiosity? The hypnosis, for me personally, and I use hypnosis in my programs, I think hypnosis is a very powerful supplement to support weight loss and change of behavior. That being said, I don't think hypnosis sessions, me working with you directly or listening to my sessions, is going to let you master your weight. I think it's a supplement. It's a supporting piece. But what I do think about hypnosis that's crucial to understanding and controlling your weight is for you to be able to run your own mind. So in Program Yourself Thin, it's all built around the Program Yourself Thin technique, which is a self-hypnosis technique where you program your own mind to think, feel, live, and eat the way a thin and healthy person does. And so it's more honestly about self-hypnosis than hypnosis. And the truth is that you're all currently, your whole life have been, are now, and always will be your best or worst hypnotist because you're always in your head talking to yourself. And that internal dialogue is literally dictating your weight ultimately. So that's kind of my take on it. As Raymond says, my motivation is wearing my clothing more comfortably. Like, great motivator. As Raymond says, yes, Skinny Talk focuses on helping you stay at a healthy weight for the rest of your life. All right. Changing your entire relationship to food and activity and being honest about our habits. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to check it out because, to be honest, I feel like a stranger in a strange land. When it comes to weight loss, I have not found a way to fit in anywhere. And so I have to go to dieters, and dieters, they just want to talk about fast weight loss. It's the fucking complete wrong focus. I get on here every day complaining about dieting and dieters. I love dieters too, by the way. So it's a matter of, love the dieter, hate the diet. So I want to make that crystal clear. But it would be nice to step into a different paradigm. I'll tell you that. And you'll notice I'm going to go check it out. Yeah. Mindset Pieces, How Skinny Talk is Changing Lives Rapidly. Yeah, I'm going to go check it out. That's it. I decided. Valerie says, I have people assume I use GLP, but I've only used real foods, easier in UK to eat healthier. Great job, Valerie. Proud of you. Yeah. Valerie says, agree about the internal monologue. Yeah. That internal dialogue is constantly, it's controlling your life and you don't even realize it. And it's a hypnotic effect too. So it's a very important piece of the puzzle. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Again, if you're, oh, look at that. Look at that. Good job, Valerie. Yeah, it took me a year to get to my goal weight. Great job. And a year, again, a year sounds like a long time, but the weight loss is just a phase. Then you get to your goal weight and you stay there forever. So how long you get to your goal weight really is not that important. I know you're in a rush, but anyways, thanks, Sweet Quest. So yeah, if you're not in my world, make sure you click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, sign up for that. Because once you're on my email list this weekend, you're going to get the goal weight quiz I put together. It's done. So this isn't talking about me doing it. It's done. Okay. And so I'm going to send that out to my list soon. And that's completely free. It's going to help you choose the right goal weight. And more importantly, give your goal weight a lot more meaning. Going to knock your socks off. I think I've tested this out with my clients and I got very positive reviews about it. And people used what it is to create really cool stuff, which is, you'll understand when I show it to you. And so, yeah, make sure you click the link, go get that. If you can't click the link, go to programyourselfthin.com, go click for the free hypnosis session on the top links and you'll go get that. If you ever have questions, pop on here. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, answering questions, doing lives here. And if you missed this and like to listen to them, it's also a podcast and it's called Program Yourself Thin, and you listen on all the podcast platforms. So, all right, everyone, have a super day and we'll talk soon. Bye.